Hello Ghana! The 4th National Meteorological Awareness Month is here from the 24th of February to the 2nd of April 2026, activating the nation under the theme Observing Today, Protecting Tomorrow. Every raindrop measured, every wind recorded, and every forecast issued helps save lives and protect livelihoods. This year, Meteorological Awareness Month goes beyond the forecast, reaching all regions and districts across the country, bringing vital weather and climate information closer to communities, institutions, women, youth, and decision makers. From stakeholder engagements and public outreach to the launch of the use of the Ghana Climate Atlas and seasonal forecast, we are empowering Ghana with data that supports disaster preparedness, food security, aviation safety, and national development. Because 1 minute of data can save lives. Join us through outreach activities, public education, and digital engagement, and discover how weather and climate services protect people, livelihoods, and the future. So when we observe today, we don't just predict the weather, we protect tomorrow. For enquiries, sponsorships, and partnerships, please contact 0544 951515 or 0501 543832. 2026 Meteorological Awareness Month, observing today, protecting tomorrow. Recognizing the value of knowledge and committing to efficient service delivery is not just advantageous, it is essential to staying ahead. The Ghana Meteorological Agency recognizes the power of knowledge and the importance of efficient service delivery. Traditionally, meteorological data collection involved manual processes. Observers meticulously recorded rainfall using tools like this rain gauge.
Ghana Meteorological Agency is an institution established by an Act of Parliament to provide weather and climate services for socio-economic development of Ghana. In doing so, we go through various processes which is dependent heavily on digitalization and technology. It starts from acquisition of the data. Over the years, we use manual ways of collecting data where staff go to the station every hour 24/7, manually collect the data and transmit same to the headquarters for forecasters to use it to generate the forecasting. We are now introducing technology to improve the acquisition of the data. So we've started using automatic weather station, which is self-recording and transmission of the data, using that technology to collect the data to reduce human errors and interventions, and to get the data in real time and very accurate for the weather forecasting.
But now, technology is transforming the field. Farmers can now access real-time forecasts on their phones, while automatic weather stations enhance data collection efficiency.
GMET, in its operation, has introduced technology in, as I said, acquisition of the data and in processing of the data, and also when using the same technological tools in disseminating the data.
For those whose livelihoods depend on the weather, like fishermen, mobile technology provides crucial up-to-the-minute information for safety and planning.
So after we've digitally collected this data to the headquarters, the forecasters will analyze this data using the digital tools and then generate products and services and use these tools to disseminate the information. For instance, when it comes to our marine forecast, where we provide specific forecast for activities on the ocean, we have a system where the forecast is translated or transmitted through USSD code, where the fisherfolks can dial this code and then have state of the sea forecast for 3 days.
It is essential to build digital skills and understanding. Meteorologists are now using digital tools to educate students and the public, increasing awareness and preparedness.
We have a content management system, which is a system that we've developed now in disseminating our information on our website, which is interactive, that people can go to the website and zoom into their localities and be able to see the forecast in their area.
The Common Alerting Protocol, also known as the CAP Alert, are also disseminated through the Content Management System. The Common Alerting Protocol is a standard format accepted internationally for sending weather alerts to the public. On the website, an existing alert pops up at the top right of the main page, which redirects a user to the details of the alert. The alert gives information of specific areas where a weather warning has been issued, the time the event is expected to start and end, and severity of the event, as well as the likelihood of that event occurring. At the heart of modern meteorology are organizations like the Ghana Meteorological Agency, GMET, utilizing digital platforms to monitor, analyze, and disseminate critical weather information. The staff of the Ghana Meteorological Agency work diligently, processing data from various sources, from phone reports to sophisticated computer modules, ensuring timely and accurate forecasts. Even aviation relies on precise meteorological data with tools like Terminal Area Forecast (TAF), providing essential forecast for safe air travel.
In our services to the aviation, our forecasters use these technological tools in issuing the TAF and sending the TAF to the air controllers, through the air controllers to the pilots. And TAF, terminal aerodrome forecast that we issue, and also segment is a significant weather event. When observed quickly, the meteorologists have to issue it through the air controllers to the air pilots for their air navigation. And then also our meters that we develop at the airports use this technology to send the information to the air controllers to support aviation. When it comes to the agric industry, we also use SMS tools to send the information to the farmers. And so these are some of the technological tools.
Digital systems play a vital role in issuing timely alerts and warnings, crucial for disaster preparedness and response, helping to protect vulnerable communities. Innovative solutions like USSD codes ensure that even those with basic mobile phones can access vital weather information, bridging the digital divide.
So in doing all this, we still think there's more room for improvement, and that we need a strong improvement in technology to support our operation, to make GMET fully automated institution, from collection, processing, and dissemination, completely digitalized using technology. And in light of this, government is procuring for the agency an integrated management information system that will integrate data from all sources, from in-situ data, from satellite data, from global models, from our home models, integrated into a system that will be modeled and display it on the screens for forecasters to analyze the plots and add their knowledge and skills and bulletins and information to make it bulletins, and issue various type of services to support socio-economic development. And so we believe with this we'll be able to create a climate smart nation and a resilient nation that can withstand the adverse effects of climate change.
From the skies above to the phones in our hands, the digital shift in meteorology is not just changing how we understand weather, it's transforming how we prepare, respond, and thrive. With every byte of data and every timely alert, we are building a future where knowledge saves lives, where no community is left behind, and where resilience is powered by information. This is more than progress. It is protection, empowerment, and a call to action for a climate-smart generation. In recent years, Ghana has faced a growing call and national demand for stronger awareness and more effective early warning systems. Flooding, extreme heat, erratic rainfall, storm surges along our coastlines. Communities have asked, how do we prepare? How do we know before disaster strikes? This is where the work of the Ghana Meteorological Agency through Meteorological Awareness Month becomes more than education. It becomes a solution, because early warning is not only about technology, it is about understanding. A forecast that is not understood is a warning that is not received. The vision was clear: to enhance public awareness and education on GMET's products and services, to share relevant national climate and weather information, to strengthen partnerships, and to showcase innovation and contribution to national development. But what started as awareness quickly evolved into impact. From this platform emerged two landmark national initiatives: the Meteorological Society of Ghana, uniting professionals, researchers, and advocates under one scientific community, and the National Framework for Climate Services, a transformative blueprint harmonizing the delivery of climate services across Ghana. These were not just launches, they were milestones, proof that awareness can lead to structure, structure can lead to coordination, and coordination can lead to resilience. But perhaps the most powerful impact has been in the hands of the next generation. Through the Green Climate Club initiative, second cycle students across the nation were introduced to climate literacy and environmental responsibility at schools such as Temele Secondary School, Ghana Secondary School, and St. Charles Minor Seminary School. Young minds were awakened. Students became climate ambassadors, environmental stewards, future leaders prepared not just to inherit the earth, but to protect it. Through the Weather Kids initiative, the voices of young people, those most vulnerable to climate change, have been amplified. Students are now active participants in weather and climate information dissemination. They do not just listen to forecasts, they understand them, they share them, they live them. Meteorological Awareness Month has also ensured that no voice is left behind. Persons with disabilities are being heard. Communities once considered deprived are now engaged in meaningful climate conversations, because weather affects everyone and climate justice demands inclusion. As awareness intensified, so did national support. Voices of influence stepped forward. The government, the World Food Programme, government ministries, development partners. Weather and climate education became a shared national responsibility. Then came 2025. The streets became classrooms. Weather communication transformed from a one-way broadcast into two-way community conversation. Citizens asked questions, shared experiences.
My idea, this is first of its kind. See, I'm going to take that initiative to start doing this now. I believe strongly that men and so it will complete this.
Of flooding and extreme heat, sought clarity on seasonal patterns. Face-to-face engagement built credibility, and trust closed the early warning gap. Across the north, south, east, and west, in churches, among fisherfolk, with farmers, within the armed forces, even in the most remote communities, weather and climate knowledge found its way home. The mission of the Ghana Meteorological Agency is simple but profound: to provide forecasts that protect lives and property, But science alone cannot complete the journey. From the scientific desk to the public's ear, the final mile is walked with media houses, journalists, and content creators. This is where the scientific truth of the sky meets the culture of communication. And through Meteorological Awareness Month, GMET continues to leverage the full reach of the media to ensure accurate, timely, and life-saving information reaches every Ghanaian. 4 years, countless engagements, hundreds of communities, thousands of informed citizens, from observation to awareness, from awareness to action, from action to protection. The story of Meteorological Awareness Month is being written, but one truth is already clear. When the nation understands its weather, it strengthens its future. This is more than a campaign. This is a movement. Observing today, protecting tomorrow. A seasonal forecast is a scientific outlook that predicts the general rainfall and temperature patterns expected over the next 3 to 6 months. Whereas a daily weather forecast tells us it will rain tomorrow, a seasonal forecast answers the bigger questions. Will the season be wetter than normal, drier than normal, or near average? Will southern Ghana experience delayed rains? Is flooding more likely this year? Is there a risk of drought or prolonged dry spells? Seasonal forecasts are expressed in probabilities, not certainties, because climate system naturally varies. Why is seasonal forecast important? Seasonal forecasts provide early warning and valuable planning time. For southern Ghana, where agriculture, water supply systems, hydropower generation, and urban life depend heavily on rainfall, this forecast helps society prepare rather than react. Supporting agriculture and food security. With advanced information, farmers can make informed decisions about planting dates, crop selection, fertilizer application, and irrigation planning. The result? Reduced crop losses and improved yields. Water resource management. Institutions such as the Ghana Water Company Limited, Volta River Authority, Wheat Power Authority, and the Water Resource Commission rely on seasonal forecasts to manage reservoirs, anticipate shortages, and plan hydropower generation. Disaster risk reduction. If above normal rainfall is expected, the National Disaster Management Organization can pre-position relief items. Local assemblies can desil drains early. Communities can prepare for flood risks. Authorities can enforce regulations to reduce the impact of imminent hazards. Protecting infrastructure in urban areas. Seasonal outlooks guide urban planners and engineers in preparing for climate hazards such as windstorms and flooding. Cities like Accra, Cape Coast, and Takoradi remain vulnerable to extreme weather events. Economic and national planning. Weather affects every sector of Ghana's economy: food prices, transportation, energy supply, and public health. The seasonal forecast is not just a weather product, it is an economic planning tool. The forecast serves a wide range of stakeholders: farmers and farmer-based organizations, government ministries and agencies, disaster and emergency institutions, water and energy sector, the health sector, private sector and insurance, media and communication partners, development partners such as the Food and Agriculture Organization, World Food Program, United Nations Development Program, and the World Bank support resilience building initiatives using seasonal climate information. The seasonal forecast is a national preparedness tool designed to help farmers, planners, disaster agencies, and businesses make informed decisions ahead of the rainy season. With early action, we can reduce losses, protect lives, and improve productivity across southern Ghana. Seasonal forecasts are not just meteorological products, they are development tools. When properly communicated and applied, they save lives, protect livelihoods, strengthen food security, reduce disaster losses, and support Ghana's economy. Hello, Ghana. The 4th National Meteorological Awareness Month is here from the 24th of February to the 2nd of April 2026, activating the nation under the theme Observing Today, Protecting Tomorrow. Every raindrop measured, every wind recorded, and every forecast issued helps save lives and protect livelihoods. This year, Meteorological Awareness Month goes beyond the forecast, reaching all regions and districts across the country, bringing vital weather and climate information closer to communities, institutions, women, youth, and decision makers. From stakeholder engagements and public outreach to the launch of the use of the Ghana Climate Atlas and seasonal forecast, we are empowering Ghana with data that supports disaster preparedness, food security, aviation safety, and national development. Because 1 minute of data can save lives. Join us through outreach activities, public education, and digital engagement, and discover how weather and climate services protect people, livelihoods, and the future. So when we observe today, we don't just predict the weather, we protect tomorrow. For enquiries, sponsorships, and partnerships, please contact 0544 951515 or 0501 543832. 2026 Meteorological Awareness Month, observing today, protecting tomorrow. A seasonal forecast is a scientific outlook that predicts the general rainfall and temperature patterns expected over the next 3 to 6 months. Whereas a daily weather forecast tells us it will rain tomorrow, a seasonal forecast answers the bigger questions. Will the season be wetter than normal, drier than normal, or near average? Will southern Ghana experience delayed rains? Is flooding more likely this year? Is there a risk of drought or prolonged dry spells? Seasonal forecasts are expressed in probabilities, not certainties, because climate system naturally varies. Why is seasonal forecast important? Seasonal forecasts provide early warning and valuable planning time. For southern Ghana, where agriculture, water supply systems, hydropower generation, and urban life depend heavily on rainfall, this forecast helps society prepare rather than react. Supporting agriculture and food security. With advanced information, farmers can make informed decisions about planting dates, crop selection, fertilizer application, and irrigation planning. The result? Reduced crop losses and improved yields. Water resource management. Institutions such as the Ghana Water Company Limited, Volta River Authority, Wheat Power Authority, and the Water Resource Commission rely on seasonal forecasts to manage reservoirs, anticipate shortages, and plan hydropower generation. Disaster risk reduction. If above normal rainfall is expected, the National Disaster Management Organization can pre-position relief items. Local assemblies can desil drains early. Communities can prepare for flood risks. Authorities can enforce regulations to reduce the impact of imminent hazards. Protecting infrastructure in urban areas. Seasonal outlooks guide urban planners and engineers in preparing for climate hazards such as windstorms and flooding. Cities like Accra, Cape Coast, and Takoradi remain vulnerable to extreme weather events. Economic and national planning. Weather affects every sector of Ghana's economy: food prices, transportation, energy supply, and public health. The seasonal forecast is not just a weather product, it is an economic planning tool. The forecast serves a wide range of stakeholders: farmers and farmer-based organizations, government ministries and agencies, disaster and emergency institutions, water and energy sector, the health sector, private sector and insurance, media and communication partners, development partners such as the Food and Agriculture Organization, World Food Program, United Nations Development Program, and the World Bank support resilience building initiatives using seasonal climate information. The seasonal forecast is a national preparedness tool designed to help farmers, planners, disaster agencies, and businesses make informed decisions ahead of the rainy season. With early action, we can reduce losses, protect lives, and improve productivity across southern Ghana. Seasonal forecasts are not just meteorological products, they are development tools. When properly communicated and applied, they save lives, protect livelihoods, strengthen food security, reduce disaster losses, and support Ghana's economy. In recent years, Ghana has faced a growing call and national demand for stronger awareness and more effective early warning systems. Flooding, extreme heat, erratic rainfall, storm surges along our coastlines. Communities have asked, how do we prepare? How do we know before disaster strikes? This is where the work of the Ghana Meteorological Agency through Meteorological Awareness Month becomes more than education. It becomes a solution, because early warning is not only about technology, it is about understanding. A forecast that is not understood is a warning that is not received. The vision was clear: to enhance public awareness and education on GMET's product and services, to share relevant national climate and weather information, to strengthen partnerships, and to showcase innovation and contribution to national development. But what started as awareness quickly evolved into impact. From this platform emerged two landmark national initiatives: the Meteorological Society of Ghana, uniting professionals, researchers, and advocates under one scientific community, and the National Framework for Climate Services, a transformative blueprint harmonizing the delivery of climate services across Ghana. These were not just launches, they were milestones, proof that awareness can lead to structure, structure can lead to coordination, and coordination can lead to resilience. But perhaps the most powerful impact has been in the hands of the next generation. Through the Green Climate Club initiative, second cycle students across the nation were introduced to climate literacy and environmental responsibility at schools such as Temele Secondary School, Ghana Secondary School, and St. Charles Minor Seminary School. Young minds were awakened. Students became climate ambassadors, environmental stewards, future leaders prepared not just to inherit the earth, but to protect it. Through the Weather Kids initiative, the voices of young people, those most vulnerable to climate change, have been amplified. Students are now active participants in weather and climate information dissemination. They do not just listen to forecasts, they understand them, they share them, they live them. Meteorological Awareness Month.
We have been very patient and we appreciate your patience so much. My name is Kojo Mensah, and as earlier stated, I would be steering the affairs of this beautiful and wonderful gathering this morning. And so yet, it's very important that we gather here this morning to have this conversation. And I'm sure some of you are wondering, why don't we have plastic water bottles by your side? We're talking about the climate. We do not want to contribute to destruction of our climate. Yes, and so in order to, walk the talk and put our money where our mouth is, we have decided that we are not going to distribute water in plastic bottles. Instead, we have a water station at the far end of the building. So once you make your way there, you just grab a glass of water and you return to your seat beautifully. Please put your hands together for us. Yeah. I'm excited to be a part of this morning's conversation because it is something that is really dear to our hearts. When we talk of Ghana's climate story, it's no longer a future forecast. No, it is here. Yesterday and the days preceding that, I saw on social media quite a number of people asking, where is our subscription to the ozone layer? Because the heat we are experiencing these days is way beyond what we can bargain for. At first you have to drive all the way to the northern part of the country to experience that level of heat. Now, very close to the sea, we are burning. And it's because, indeed, we have not done justice to protecting our climate. Our water bodies. Talk about the floods in this country. There were areas in East Legon that never got flooded. Today, the story is a lot different. Why? Climate change. And so, ladies, it's very important that we gather here to talk about it. But today we are not talking about the problem. We've talked about it for years. We are looking at the solution. We're looking at the way forward. We're looking at what you and I can do. And so it's an intersection. Policy, science, and more importantly, our very survival. That's why we are here this morning. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm privileged once again to stir the affairs. But before we get into the conversations, as is with most Ghanaian traditions, we'll have to say a word of prayer. And so, ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Maureen from GMET to give us the opening prayer. Please, let's welcome her.
Good morning, everyone. Please, with all humility, I would like us to rise and have our opening prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for today. We thank you for bringing us together as a family. As we are here to discuss the way forward to make sure that we have a resilient country in terms of our climate, to have a good life to live, we pray that you will be with us. That in all that we are doing, your name will be glorified. We pray for our brothers and sisters that are on their way. Lord, be with them, that they will join us peacefully, that the day will be a glorious one. These and many other blessings we ask through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you so much for helping us with the prayer. So right after prayer, we'll just zoom into action. And I promise you will not be taking too much of your time. It's a Wednesday, and I'd like to commend all those who are in full this Wednesday. So if you see someone wearing fugu next to you, give them a handshake. And I like the fact that our DG, our deputy DG, they are all in fugu. And of course, I've seen Jifagunu is also in fugu, and the man right there also in fugu. Me in fugu, JFFL. Clearly, we are living what the president asked us to do. So please, if you are in fugu, put your hands together for yourself. And those of you who are not in fugu, clap for those who are in fugu. We need to acknowledge some wonderful people here this morning, even though we are all gathered for one same purpose. And I would like to acknowledge the presence of the Danish ambassador to Ghana, His Excellency Jacob Lemov. Please, thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador, for making time to be here with us. The board chairman of GMET, Mr. Salasi Wenya, he's also a public legal practitioner as well. Thank you very much, sir. Our Director General, of course, Dr. Eric Esuman is here. And our Deputy DG as well. Please put your hands together to him. And because issues of climate affect every single person, we also have representation from traditional authorities, precisely from the Mempasam Traditional Council. We have Nitogbo Obudai Ampao, the 6th. He's the chief of Mempasam. We also have Nisa Iwulu also joining us here. Nisa Iwulu, thank you so much for coming. Asafuate Ampao the 3rd is also in our midst. Ochame Abe Manjere, no Owalado, Ochame Abe is also here. WO1 Babu is a council member also in our midst in his Fugu. Benny Toto is a member of the council, and Ashley Obudai is also a member of the council. Deborah Among, also a member of the council. Thank you so much for joining us. We also have Na Afua Dade Padua the First, Abula Wamprakwa Manye, and president of the Greater Accra Markets Association. Very, very active when it comes to national duties. Thank you so much for your presence here. We also have Emmanuel Simpson, who is director of NCCRM, also joining us. Thank you so much, sir. Samuel Adetian, an environmental health and safety manager at Trillium Industrial Company Limited. Thank you so much for being here as well. David Ofosuado, director of prisons at the Ghana Prison Service, also joining us for this conversation. Thank you, sir. We also have Adofian Raymond Wejong Ali, who is director general special duties at the Ghana Police Service. Thank you so much, sir. Samuel Kojo Zormed, manager, ANS Inspectorate, Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, also here. Thank you so much, sir. And of course, CEO of the Ghana Digital Centers, Jifa Gulu, is also here with us. And we have representatives from the Center for Disability Studies at the University of Ghana. Please give us a review here. Thank you so much for your time. So we now receive our welcome statement and our opening statement from our board chair himself, Salasi Wewe Elsquire. Please let's receive him.
Jakob Linhoff, the Director General of the Danish Meteorological Institute, Marianne Turing, who unfortunately is unable to be with us here today, but will be joining us online. The Director General of GMET and his absolutely fantastic team, the Director of the WMO Regional Association, heads of institutions gathered here today, representatives from WMO, National Meteorological and Hydrological Services, academia, civil society, and our friends from the media. On the 2nd of July, 2011, a single rainstorm dumped over 130 milliliters of water on Copenhagen in just 2 hours. Hospitals flooded, roads became rivers. The damage exceeded over $1 billion in a single afternoon. In Ghana, on June 3rd, 2015, 250 millimeters of rain, more than a month's rainfall, fell in the city of Accra. This event brought with it the loss of lives and property. What Copenhagen did next is why we are all here today. The Danish Meteorological Institute, our partners in this very project, built a national climate atlas. That atlas gave every one of Denmark's 98 municipalities the precise localized data they needed to map their flood risks and plan their defenses. Armed with that data, Copenhagen launched its cloud-based management plan, a $1.3 billion program of over 300 flood mitigation projects. Today, flood risk in the city's priority areas have been reduced by as much as 50%. The lesson is clear. Accurate climate data does not just inform policy. It makes transformative action possible. Ghana now has that data. And I am honored on behalf of the governing board of the Ghana Meteorological Agency to welcome you to the official launch of our own Climate Atlas. The Climate Atlas is the product of a partnership between GMET and DMI under the Ghana-Denmark Strategic Sector Cooperation Program with the strong support of the Danish Embassy, represented here today by the ambassador himself. It is not borrowed from a global template. It is built on Ghana's own observed climate data, integrated with global climate models and downscaled to a 4-kilometer grid. That means a district assembly in Boku and a municipal planner in Sekendi Takrady can now access climate projections specific to their locality. Not a rough regional estimate, but precise, actionable data. This matters because the decisions that will determine Ghana's resilience are being made right now in district planning offices, on farms, in the boardrooms of infrastructure companies, and around cabinet tables. Until today, too many of those decisions have been made with incomplete information. This atlas changes all that. But the tool is only useful in the hands that wield it. So I have two requests. First, to the MDAs, the private sector, and our academic institutions. Integrate this atlas into your planning frameworks. Use it, challenge it, build on it. Second, to all Ghanaians, the weather stations and sensors that feed this atlas are national assets sitting in our own communities. Protecting them is protecting our own future. I wish to express the board's deep appreciation to the government of Denmark through the Embassy and DMI for this partnership. To the Honorable Minister, who will be joining us very soon, for the political backing that made this possible. To the WMO for its continued technical guidance, and to the Director General and the entire team at GMET, whose dedication has brought this atlas from concept to reality. Distinguished guest, Copenhagen's story teaches us that the distance between a devastating flood and a resilient city is measured not just in concrete and engineering, but in data. Today, Ghana takes a decisive step close to closing that gap. It is my privilege to declare this launch ceremony officially open. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a bigger round for our board chair. Indeed, we have set the ball rolling. It is time for us into action. I like to acknowledge the presence of the Member of Parliament for Tema East, Isaac Asharo Danton. Honorable Asharo Danton, thank you so much. And he is representing the chairman for the Select Committee, Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs, Dr. Godfrey Seidu Giselle. Thank you so much for making time to be here. Now we'll get to understand more about Atlas we are talking about and why it is very essential for a country like Ghana. We've heard about the Copenhagen story and then how we also are localizing it to the benefit of Ghanaians. Ladies and gentlemen, my privilege to invite upstage the Director General of the Ghana Meteorological, Dr. Eric Asuman.
Thank you very much. And good morning once again to you all. I believe I can say it better than what my board chairman has said. But for emphasis, I will say it probably in a different tone. Honorable Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, who will be joining us very soon. His Excellency, the Ambassador of Danish Embassy in Ghana, my brother Jacob, members of Parliament present, the Board Chair of GMET, the Director General of Danish Meteorological Institute, the Vice Chancellors and their representative here present, Director of WMO Regional Office, Dr. Agnes Giazi, heads of institutions present here, representative from the WMO, academia, civil society, the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Not forgetting our Chief Naime for supporting us this month in all our activities. He was with us at the lunch and he's with us here once again. Nana, you are most welcome. It is my great pleasure to present the background and the national relevance of the Ghana Climate Atlas as we gather today for its official launch. This vital tool is designed to support adaptation planning and informed decision-making for Ghana's socio-economic development. Climate change poses real threats to our economy and society, and we must embrace it with coordinated effort to address its impacts and vulnerabilities. Rising temperatures, heavy rainfalls, floods, droughts, and coastal erosions make it a profound challenge. Despite intervention by academia, NGOs, and other relevant stakeholders to provide climate projections, significant gaps remain in standardized information for planning. For years, Ghana has relied on global and regional climate models with a resolution of approximately 100 kilometer and 50 kilometer radius. While useful for broad trends, these coarse models are blind to the specific needs of a farmer in Ejura or a town planner in Accra, which limits local decision-making on climate impact to sensitive sectors of the economy. And I remember talking to an urban planner, special planning officer, letting him discussing this atlas and what it seeks to do, and he telling me that, in fact, we need this information like yesteryears, because we design infrastructure drainages, not taking into consideration what the runoffs are going to be in the next 20 years to come. As the mandated institution, GMET asks, how do we change this narrative? The answer lies in the Climate Atlas. Unlike previous efforts, this atlas is unique. It utilizes our national observed data, climate data, for a high resolution of approximately 4 kilometer radius, as the board chair said. We've also moved from looking at the climate prediction through a blurred lens to seeing it in a high definition. This achievement is a testament to international solidarity. In 2023, a courtesy call by Danish ambassador, then Tom Norin, sparked a partnership under a 10-year strategic sector cooperation on meteorology and climate, one of the key outcomes of which we are celebrating today. We express our deepest appreciation to the Danish Embassy for this invaluable support and collaboration. through tireless capacity building between GMET and Danish Meteorological Institute's team, both in Copenhagen and Accra, we have developed a product that meets international standards while remaining rooted in Ghanaian reality in consultation with our cherished stakeholders and users. Ladies and gentlemen, the Climate Atlas should be the engine room for our national adaptation plan and a nationally determined contribution under the Paris Agreement. Its impact on our economy will be felt in 4 critical ways. 1, evidence-based investment, as it provides the climate rationale required to unlock international funding, such as from the Green Climate Fund, World Bank, and other financial institutions. Now, there is data to refer to make a case for an investment from these bodies to protect our society and our livelihoods in years to come. Sectorial resilience. It allows for precise vulnerability assessment in agriculture, energy, water, health, and infrastructure, ensuring that a city spent today isn't washed away by flood tomorrow. Community empowerment. By monitoring agroecological zones, we empower our local communities to take informed actions, protecting livelihoods before disaster strikes. And last but not the least, strengthening climate research with academia and other research institutions. We provide a reference point, 4-kilometer radius data. There are other parameters, how it's going to impact society. The door is open, collaborating with academia to do more research and add more parameters to it and do more analysis to see how it impacts our society. As we celebrate this atlas, we must remember that data is its life food, life blood. This data comes from our meteorological stations across the country. I want to use this platform under our Meteorological Awareness Month and the World Meteorological Day theme, observing today, protecting tomorrow, to send a very clear message. Ghana must invest more in meteorological observation infrastructure and protect the few installations we currently have. The Ghana Meteorological Agency needs additional observation stations across the country to strengthen the collection of reliable weather and climate data. Equally important is the need to stop the vandalism of meteorological equipment. When the weather station is vandalized, a community early warning system is effectively blinded, limiting our ability to detect hazard and issue timely warnings. To improve our national early warning capacity, Ghana requires more marine observing stations, upper air observing systems, weather radars, automatic weather stations, and automated weather observing systems. Strengthening these systems will significantly enhance our ability to protect lives, support agriculture, safeguard infrastructure, and promote national development. To borrow the words of WMO Secretary General Professor Alisto Salo, behind each forecast are millions of observations processed in WMO's global network that appeals decisions worth billions, from aviation to flooding protection, energy to health, crops to infrastructure, in saving thousands of lives and properties. Honorable Minister, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, by delivering precise and actionable data, the Atlas informed billions of dollars worth of decision across key sectors. It transforms vulnerabilities into opportunities, from optimizing crop planting amid shifting rainfall patterns to guiding resilient coastal investment, thereby directly strengthening Ghana's economy and advancing our climate adaptation efforts. Our tomorrow is in our hands. Let's protect lives and protect property together. I wish to extend my deepest gratitude to the Danish Embassy and the DMI, that's Danish Meteorological Institute, for their unwavering technical and financial support. ESRI, for providing the platform that brings our climate story to life. To Kim Syrup, Kofi Kim, we used to call him. Kim was attaché at the embassy who started with us with this collaboration, for his hard work and dedication in pursuing this initiative this far. Even though you have moved to another aspect of life, your legacy lives on. Our sector ministry, our Ministry of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovations, that serve on the steering committee, and all the sectors we have engaged and consulted in developing this atlas for your support and feedback. I can't end my remarks without commending the GMET Climate Atlas team, the young men and ladies sitting behind here. Could you please rise for people to see you? Whose tireless effort transform a vision into reality. Thank you. Let's observe today to protect tomorrow. And may the good God bless our whole land, Ghana. Thank you.
Please let's do a better one for Doc. You know, Doc kept his word. He says he can't say it any better than the board chair said it, but he will say it in a different tone, a longer tone it was. Please put your hands once again, put it together once again for him. Dr. Eric Simon, thank you so much. We appreciate you. We also need to appreciate the wonderful board members of the Ghana Meteorological Agency. Please give us a wave as we appreciate them. Yeah. Working tirelessly to ensure that GMET becomes GMET. Yeah. So at this point, we've heard so much about the Copenhagen example and the DMI as well. So it's time to get to hear from that best practice and get to find out exactly what that best practice is. So ladies and gentlemen, let's pay attention to the screens as we watch the video from the Director General of the
Distinguished
Danish...
guests, honorable representatives, colleagues and friends. It is a great honor to celebrate the launch of Climate Atlas Ghana. Today marks an important milestone for climate knowledge and climate adaptation in Ghana. I'm very sorry that I'm not able to be with you today personally, but fortunately I had the opportunity to come to Ghana to GMET in January and did see the progress taking place in this part of the project and other parts of the project as well. The Climate Atlas is much more than a data set. It is a tool for decision makers to use in complex climate information into knowledge that can guide decisions. Decisions about infrastructure, about agriculture, about water resources, and about how communities prepare for the changing climate. In that respect, I was very happy to visit Tema in January to understand how coast erosion really is an impact from climate change. In other words, climate data becomes actionable knowledge. On behalf of the Danish Meteorological Institute, I would like to congratulate the Ghana Meteorological Agency on this important achievement. For DMI, being part of this journey has been both professionally rewarding and personally inspiring. Working together with GMET has shown us the strength and true institutional collaboration. Because strong climate services are never built alone. They are built together. I find that one key lesson stands out. Capacity development is always a two-way process. We shared culture and methods, but we, DMI, also learned from GMET's deep expertise. Your expertise in local knowledge and your understanding of the Ghana climate realities. That change of knowledge has made really, really sustainable solutions. Another important lesson has been to value open source solutions. Due to this project and the collaboration with GMET, DMI has changed the way we develop climate services. Open tools allow national institutions to maintain systems locally, to develop them further, and to fully own their solutions. And the ownership at GMET is essential for long-term success. Climate Atlas Ghana shows what strong climate services require: national ownership, institutional capacity, and open and transparent tools, and cooperation across institutions and borders. When these elements come together, climate knowledge becomes a lasting national capacity. Strategic cooperation is not only about technology, it is about trust. Trust between institutions, trust between professionals, trust that knowledge is shared with a common purpose. And this trust has been a key part of the success of Climate Atlas. I want to thank GMET, all management and leadership, and more members of staff for the trust you have shown DMI. I really hope we deserve it. Let me end by thanking our colleagues at the Ghana Meteorological Agency, the Ministry of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, and the Danish Embassy in Accra, and everyone involved in the strategic sector cooperation. Thanking you for all the dedication and professionalism which has been shown in this collaboration. Climate Atlas Ghana turns climate knowledge into better decisions, and better decisions can make a real difference for society. I really hope you will enjoy this collaboration and you will enjoy the day today. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Marianne, who is the Director General for the Ghana Meteorological Institute.
And once we've heard from her, it's now time to hear from the ambassador himself, who's been with us here this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome His Excellency Jakob Leinhoff, who is the Danish ambassador to Ghana.
Good morning. Good morning. Wow. I really, really hope that you all, each one of you, know how important this day is. I mean, so many people have been working on developing this climate atlas for years, and now we are here. Wow. I think the first thing I would like to say is, that Chairman, Director General, Deputy Director General, our partnership is so important, right? And thank you so much for working together with us. It's just very unique, and I think the friendship that we have developed over the years is so beneficial, and we learned so much from each other. Denmark learned so much from Ghana on this, from GMET, and I hope we can also contribute a little bit to the further development of GMET. So thank you so much for partnering with us. Today is a day of celebration. Absolutely, it's a day of celebration. It's a day of celebration because, the microphone is a little bit on and off. I don't know whether it's me or the microphone or just, but anyway, it's a day of celebration. We launched the Climate Atlas. Huge congrats to everyone who has been involved in this milestone. But it's much more than that. It's a celebration of Denmark and Ghana being friends and being partners. And that is not a given thing. I think we all know that we live in a very complex world. We all know that we live in a world where conflicts and political tensions are there. So it's not a given thing that two countries are friends. And you know, as Danish ambassador here, I feel so privileged and I feel so humble that I can wake up in Ghana every single day among friends and partners. And more than that, your country is so rich and so beautiful. And I'm so proud of representing Denmark here. In this complex world, we better nurture and strengthen the friendships that we have. And we do that at the Danish Embassy, together with good friends as GMET and other partners in Ghana, every single day, because we know how important our friendship is. Well, we are all pretty alarmed. I think we are, by conflicts and wars and these things happening in front of our eyes on the global scene these days. But we must not forget that climate change is fundamentally transforming the living conditions and ruining the livelihoods of millions of people every single day, and also here in beautiful Ghana. Climate change is here to stay, and we have no other choice than to adapt to it the best we can. And we can only adapt if we know what's happening. And that is why we have, together in a partnership, developed this Climate Atlas. So, this Climate Atlas, it can predict, it can forecast the climate towards 2100. And why is this so important? Well, if you know how the climate develops and changes, you can adapt to it. For instance, you can plan your cities, where to build, how to secure sufficient and good and proper infrastructure. You can adjust your agriculture. I don't think that Ghana can implement the Feed Ghana strategy without the Climate Atlas. Because with the Climate Atlas, you can adapt, you can adjust the crops, you can secure irrigation, and you can plan actually where to have agriculture and where not to have agriculture. With the Climate Atlas, you can also predict and avoid national disasters. When you know what's coming, because you can see it in the Climate Atlas, of course you can prepare yourself for it and avoid that people get hurt. When you know the rain patterns of the future, when you know where it's going to rain more and where it's going to rain less, you can also secure sufficient water for the people. So managing Ghana's scarce water resources is a key component as well for the Climate Atlas. And then with the Climate Atlas, you can manage migration. You can predict where it's going to be more difficult to live in the future for people. So in that way, you can advise and nudge people to settle in proper places, and you can prepare for the different scenarios of those places. So you can plan where you live, how you live, what you're going to eat, what you're going to drink. All this based on the Climate Atlas. And you know that behind all that, you mitigate conflicts and human suffering. And that is actually the main thing here. You secure peace and stabilization and prosperity for wonderful Ghana. And that's why this climate atlas is so unique, and that's why I'm so enormously proud of being Danish ambassador and having such a partnership with so smart and brilliant people as the Keynote people. So thank you so much, and I wish you all the best and all the success with the implementation and the further development of the climate atlas. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a better one for the Danish ambassador to Ghana. And when he was talking about how the microphone was misbehaving, someone said it's due to climate change. Very soon, men will not be given housekeeping money, so it's the climate, it's the climate. Right, so like I said earlier, this morning's conversation is focusing on a very important thing that has to do with human survival. If we do not pay attention to this, we are basically killing ourselves. We are committing murder and suicide for that matter. But ladies and gentlemen, we are not doing this in a silo. We are working with other organizations, global organizations as well. So it's now time to hear from the director of the World Meteorological Organization, Regional Office Africa, Dr. Agnes Lawrence Kijazi. Her video will be played for us to get to her message for us on a very important day like this one. So let's
Dear PR of Ghana with WMO, dear distinguished participants, it gives me a great pleasure to join you on the launch of Ghana's Climate Atlas. The World Meteorological Organization is proud to have partnered with the Ghana Meteorological Agency, together with the other valued partners, in the development of this important initiative. GMET continues to demonstrate strong leadership in advancing the digital transformation of national meteorological and hydrological services. Ghana has piloted the full suite of software tools the WMO Regional Office developed in collaboration with the NOCAP, including CleanWeb, CAP Composer, Automated Data Loader, and the Climate Change Atlas, which we are now launching. The feedback and technical input were vital to the development of these packages. WMO is glad to note that the Ghana Meteorological Agency proposed the Climate Atlas and has been working with WMO to implement it. This atlas is a modern, interactive tool that visualizes historical, current, and projected climate data, allowing users to explore climate variables nationally, regionally, and beyond. I'm happy that Ghana's Climate Atlas will allow users to have a detailed graphical climate analysis, visualize data as maps, time series, climate stripes, analyze extreme events such as droughts, understand climate change impacts, and most importantly, support national research. The priorities for Met services in the region in the coming years will remain strengthening observational network, innovate climate products, and leverage emerging technologies. On this occasion, we would like to wish Ghana well on the launch of this Climate Atlas and hope that our countries in the region, other countries in the region, will learn from Ghana's experience. Thank you.
Indeed, we are setting the pace, and hopefully we get more countries to also follow suit. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we've heard so much about the Atlas, and I'm sure most of us are wondering, okay, what is it all about? Well, the next...
Ghana's climate is changing. Temperatures are rising and rainfall patterns are becoming increasingly erratic. Floods intensify, droughts persist, and coastal erosion advances. From the drought-prone savanna in the north to the vulnerable coastal stretches in the south, climate change is no longer a distant threat. It is a present reality. And with this reality comes a vital national question. How do we plan for a future that is constantly shifting? Every sector depends on climate: agriculture, water resources, energy, infrastructure, and health. Yet, for years, climate information remained fragmented and coarse. While historical records and global models existed, the accessibility of harmonized, policy-ready climate information for Ghana was limited. In response to this national need, the Ghana Meteorological Agency, GMET, initiated a bold vision to develop a comprehensive, interactive Ghana Climate Atlas. That vision found a strong partner in the Danish Meteorological Institute and the Embassy of Denmark in Accra, under the framework of the Strategic Sector Cooperation in Climate and Meteorology. The journey formally began with the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding. It was a defining moment, not merely a diplomatic formality, but a shared commitment to scientific collaboration, institutional strengthening, and climate resilience.
Strategic Sector Cooperation Agreement between Ghana Meteorological Agency and Denmark Meteorological Agency is to bring these two institutions together to support build capacity of Ghana Meteorological Agency to be able to deliver on its mandates. What we have not been doing is having a climate projection, a forecast that will give a climate projection. As part of this Strategic Sector Cooperation Agreement, one of the flagship deliverables that we are tackling and using this cooperation to deliver is to come out with Climate Atlas.
Climate change is a global challenge, and that's why I'm so happy that GMAT and GMI together are trying to find ways to better protect our citizens in Ghana via our common collaboration.
The work began with data. Scientists utilized historical station observations from across Ghana and global climate model datasets, applying advanced downscaling techniques. Global climate models were carefully bias corrected using GMET's local station observations to ensure that projections reflect Ghana's specific geographic reality. The Atlas helps us understand historical climate trends, variability patterns, and future projections under different greenhouse emission scenarios. It transforms complex modeling into clear, interactive visualizations. The Ghana Climate Atlas is not static, it is dynamic. It evolves as science advances and new local data becomes available. Accessible and interactive, it is designed for practical, real-life decision-making. The Atlas was developed through a process of co-production. Users were not just passive recipients, they were active partners. As skills were transferred and capacity was enhanced, the collaboration between our national institutions grew even stronger. The Ghana Climate Atlas addresses critical national needs.
Thank you very much. So we can now see what is happening.
Raising awareness of climate change and its sectorial impact, supporting national climate policy frameworks, facilitating comprehensive vulnerability and risk assessments, empowering communities to take informed action. The Atlas strengthens Ghana's implementation of the National Adaptation Plan and the country's nationally determined contribution. The successful implementation of the Ghana Climate Atlas will support local government climate action, improve our capacity for risk assessment, and enhance our ability to manage climate hazards. The Atlas serves a wide range of stakeholders: government ministries, departments and agencies, regional and district assemblies, academia and research institutions, the private sector, NGOs, and civil society. The Ghana Climate Atlas is more than a digital platform. It is a national climate intelligence. It is science translated into action and partnership transformed into progress. As we implement adaptation strategies across the country, we must continue to strengthen our collaboration to upscale climate indicators and ensure the sustainability of the Atlas. Climate change is global, but Ghana's response is deliberate, scientific, and forward-looking. Today, Ghana does not plan blindly. We plan with confidence, with knowledge, and with the Ghana Climate Atlas for a resilient future.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. At least now we do have an idea, and shortly as well we'll be getting to hear from the team that has been doing this work so greatly. They spent a lot of hours, days, months, years brooding and also getting to prepare the Atlas for us. But shortly we'll also be receiving the sector minister, the minister who sits at the top of policy decisions for this particular sector. And when he joins us, we would receive him and then call on the team, the Atlas team, to also give us that presentation. But clearly, we do have a very fair idea of what we are dealing with, what we are launching today, and the importance of this particular atlas we cannot even belittle. But ladies and gentlemen, we would shortly be welcoming the minister into our midst, so we'll prepare to receive him beautifully. Then the team, the Atlas team, kindly be on standby for me. Right after he enters, you would now give us the presentation, the snapshot. We'll be looking at the results and get to understand how the Atlas will effectively be working for us as well. So ladies and gentlemen, and in line with our tradition, in line with our culture, I would please crave your indulgence. Humbly request that we be on our feet to receive the Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation into our midst this particular time. So the Honorable Sam Nate George has joined us, please. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the Honorable Minister. Thank you. You can now take your seats. Thank you so much. So now that the Minister has joined us, Honorable Minister, once again, you are welcome. We know you are very, very busy. Your schedule is very tight. But of course, this is so important to you as well. And that's why you are here for this great launch. And so the Atlas team, if you're ready, the Minister is here. And it's a good time for you to do your presentation as well. So please, let's welcome the Atlas team to take us through their presentation. The Deputy Director General himself doing that for us.
Good morning, everyone. Please excuse me and permit me also to stand on existing protocol to deliver the presentation on behalf of the Climate Atlas team. So to all the distinguished guests, colleagues who are here present, it's an honor to present the Ghana Climate Atlas, a critical tool for adaptation, for resilience, and most importantly, for evidence-based decision-making. This atlas represents a major milestone in Ghana's climate services delivery. So the presentation generally is going to cover the DMI-GMET partnership a general overview over the trends of what we've been observing since 1991 until date, and then look at the projections also, and then possibly look at the key findings and the features of the atlas. Just a little bit about the Ghana Meteorological Agency. We've been working since 1886 to deliver weather information across the country, and we are hoping that in the near future we'll be able to do more and empower different sectors within the economy. Looking at the type of weather information that we deliver, we've come a long way from nowcasting from just a few hours to what we are here today, where we are looking at climate projections. And with the help of the strategic sector cooperation between the Ghana Meteorological Agency, we've been able to address this particular challenge. Please permit me to give you a little bit of a history about the Strategic Sector Cooperation Agreement. This particular cooperation is for a period of 10 years, where we're expecting it to be renewed after every 3 years. Now, it reflects a strong international collaboration, which is aimed at also building the climate atlas, amongst other things. Unfortunately, we've heard a lot about the atlas, but I want to inform you that the strategic sector cooperation is not only about the atlas, but we also have 4 strategic areas, which is looking at building competencies, improving IT digitalization within the institution, and also enhancing strategic leadership development across the agency. The global goal is to be able to limit warming to about 1.5 degrees Celsius. Every additional degree increases extreme events and risks. For Ghana, exceeding this threshold means that there are greater impacts on livelihood, on health, as well as infrastructure. With a collective effort, we are hoping that we can reduce this warming to below 1.5 degrees Celsius. But if we should not do anything, our inactions would lead us to going beyond an annual average degrees Celsius. Looking back to what is happening this year, earlier this month we presented on the State of the Climate Report for the year 2025. And among actually, when it comes to the sort of temperatures that were recorded, we had the highest daytime temperature of about 43.2 degrees Celsius recorded in Navarro, as well as the highest nighttime temperature of 30 degrees in Tamale. And I'd want to go back to the opening of the MC, where he was complaining about the temperatures currently in Accra. I would only want to remind you, imagine having this sort of temperature at night, if we cannot deal with it during the day. Ghana has warmed by about 0.5 degrees Celsius between the different climate baselines. And in recent years, between 2023 and 2025, they have been amongst the warmest on record in recent times. And this trend is expected to continue into the future. We are also seeing slight increasing trend when it comes to rainfall. There's a greater variability in the rainfall and when it does occur. So as a Met agency also, it tells us our work even becomes more difficult, because it means that our predictions are going to be less and less accurate. This was one of the deadliest climate-related disasters in recent years, and this is just to throw some focus on the impacts of climate change. On June 3rd, 2015, we had floods and fires sweeping across most parts of Accra, and we had this particular issue in Circle. A follow-up in October 2023, we also have the Akosombo Dam spillage that displaced over 1,000 people and residents in that particular vicinity. This slide highlights the scale of the changing climate and its effects also on the economy. We are already experiencing significant and economic as well as human losses when it comes to the climate, and that is why we need the Climate Atlas. The Climate Atlas is designed to support policy frameworks such as the National Adaptation Plans and also the nationally determined contributions. These enable climate risk assessments, they strengthen decision-making at all levels, and they also empower local communities with accessible climate information, whilst making this information also standardized as well as being science-based. The approach, this atlas was built on high-resolution data, starting from observed data coming from the Ghana Meteorological Agency, and then also Codex Africa climate models, as well as IPCC sea level projections. This includes multiple emission scenarios, as well as looking within different projection periods. It is important also that we look at the context within which we situate this atlas, where we started from global models emanating from 100-kilometer resolution, downscale to 50-kilometer resolution, and when we started with a 25-kilometer resolution. Today, we can boast of a 4-kilometer resolution climate atlas product. I think this is worthy of an applause. The climate atlas has also been designed with a lot of key stakeholders involved in this particular process. And during this particular process, we have engaged different agencies, and I'd like to thank very much some of these agencies, especially the Office of the President, the Minister of State in charge of climate change. He has been very instrumental in this particular process, offering us some amount of support. The same also goes with ministries such as the Food and Agric, which have played a very major role. Especially also to the municipal assemblies. We met with the mayor of the Tema Municipal Assembly with certain regional ministers, and they've all shown commitment towards making sure that the atlas doesn't become just a particular document, but is actually utilized in planning. When we look at the key findings, one of the key findings when it comes to the annual average temperature is that at the end of the century, it is projected to increase by about 1.4 degrees, meaning that there's going to be heat stress, there's going to be impacts on health, on agriculture, as well as the energy demand that would have to come with cooling as well. Rainfall patterns have been observed or are projected to increase slightly, but the key issue also has to be with seasonal variability. This in turn would affect the planting seasons, durations of water availability, as well as increased flood risks. When it comes to the seasonality of the products, we are now observing that towards the end of the century, we are going to be having wetter seasons like the September, October, November season, which is typically not noted for having more rainfall, as compared to the April, May, June season, which would now be seen to be much drier. Again, this would have much or direct implications on agriculture and livelihoods. With respect to sea level rise, sea levels are projected to rise of an average of about 0.5 meters by the year 2100. These threaten coastal communities we are already seeing the effects today in parts like Tema, in parts like Ada, even in parts of Ningo Pram, and my minister is here how to mention his area, his constituency, and also the Keita Lagoon area, which are going to bear the brunt effects of this particular sea level rise. Now to the features of the Climate Atlas. The Climate Atlas comes with the following features. We start off with the interactive map viewer, which gives us a spatial plot and also allows us to do certain time series analysis and gives us different plot tools. We also have a story map. Currently, we've developed about 5 use cases coming from different sectors for rice production, for irrigation, for coastal erosion, as well as seasonal migration. There are also frequently asked questions that should be able to help users to be able to address the particular concerns, should they have any doubts about how to use the Climate Atlas or questions concerning climate change and related questions, should they have any. We currently have 2 finalized reports, the full technical report and a summary of the Climate Atlas, which is currently available on the Ghana Meteorological Agency's website. There are key implications for some of these projections, and these move around different sectors, especially with agriculture, where growing seasons are now moving. We have increased droughts and flood in different parts of the country. There is increased demand for cooling as the heat begins to increase. And rainfall variability essentially is also going to affect hydroelectric power generation. When it comes to infrastructure development, the cost of putting in grey infrastructure and coastal protection, as well as also supporting communities who are living within these particular areas. With the increase in temperature also, we are going to see a rise in heat-related illnesses, waterborne diseases, as well as respiratory risks as well. Now, the way forward, the Climate Atlas is in constant development, and we are making sure that we are updating it as we move. Once we identify new stakeholders, we develop new case studies also to fit their needs. And we are not going to stop there. We'll keep engaging as much stakeholders as we can and to make sure that it is relevant for their different sectors. Through the research that we've been conducting, we'll be having 4 different teams. We've had 4 abstracts accepted for the inaugural African Meteorological Society conference, which will be happening in Ethiopia in April this year. And we are happy that we'll be presenting some of the findings over there. To conclude, this is just a snapshot of what we've seen so far. Ghana is obviously warming, and by the end of the century, we are going to see even warmer temperatures. Rainfall is going to continue to be variable, and we are going to see a decrease in the April, May, June amounts of rainfall, whereas in the minor rainy season, towards the end of that period, we are rather going to see an increased rainfall within that period. Sea level is also projected to going to be rising to up to 0.5 meters by the end of the century. We couldn't have done this without the main agencies and the bodies that we've been working with. First of all, we would like to thank the ministry, especially our Minister of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, for the support that we've received so far. The Embassy of Denmark in Ghana for funding most of our activities, the World Meteorological Organization and Sambus Geospatial and ESRI for giving us access, free access, if I should say, to their visualization tools to be able to use this in developing the Climate Atlas. And also to the Danish Meteorological Institute, especially Ms. Julie Stansballer, Mr. Shingi Nangombe, and the rest of the team from Denmark, especially Marian Turing, the DG Thomas, Christina Hoff, and Adrian Lerma. We thank you all for your consistent support. I would like to end here, and throughout my engagement with the Danish Meteorological Agency, if for nothing at all, I can say thank you in Danish. Tak.
All right, talk to you too, Deputy DG. Right.
So I did the presentation, and some will say you just did a presentation. How do we know that the Climate Atlas actually exists? Okay. At times I feel like my mic is sabotaging me. So if you go onto the homepage of the Ghana Meteorological Agency, right at the homepage, we've created a link over here that should navigate to the Climate Atlas. This leads you to the main dashboard, which has a navigation pane at the top here. So you can just navigate through the entire pane by using the various buttons to take you to areas of interest. And it should be able to give you plain information about the indicators. Use the visualization tools, and they also have their corresponding links that should lead you to the individual pages. It also gives you summaries as to what to expect towards the end of the century. When we look at the main visualization tool, and I must admit that this is a tool that was developed in-house by our own staff. So, Minister, if you need someone to do development, GMET, we have the men. So this tool gives you an idea of the annual average temperatures. You've got 3 main indicators here through which you can select which particular information you want to look at. And we've also added an information tab to be able to give you technical information or details about the indicator that you're looking at. Just checking to see if my internet is connected. So you can do that for both, actually for temperature, for rainfall, and then for sea level rise. So by clicking on any of these particular indicators, the visualization over there should change. You have a slider over here that also helps you to navigate between the different emission scenarios from the low, the medium, to the high, and at the same time also navigate between near term all the way to the end of century scenarios. And you can see clearly over there how the changes are happening. It also allows you to have a look at the anomalies, the differences between what you're actually seeing and what the difference between the actuals and the long-term means. And then you also have an icon over here which shows you the various stories and impacts of climate within the particular region. So by just hovering or clicking over this, it should reveal some sort of infographic or a story map related to the various use cases that have been developed. We also have an interactive tool over here for new users who do not have an idea what the Climate Atlas is about. It gives you instructions as to where you can go and the functions of each particular tab that is located over here. For our use cases, these have been developed solely in Esri story maps, and it gives you an idea of the climate impacts in different areas across the length and breadth of the country. So by scrolling through, you are going to be seeing certain changes and movements within the different themes, and then it brings you straight to the different use cases. As I said, this is an interactive map. So once you keep scrolling, it is going to move from the particular areas to display areas of interest. Can I get the video feed? Okay. So you can move from the coast where we are seeing mangrove depletion to, let's say, the north where we are having seasonal migration. And all this has been linked to the various Climate Atlas themes. So we are looking at the various story maps where all the links are accessible via the main dashboard from our website. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Director General. But please, before you go, you mentioned that this atlas and all that we saw was developed in-house. So I want the team to join the Deputy Director General, please. Can we welcome the Atlas team, please? Quickly, so that the minister would see you. When I finish, you thank me for this. He wouldn't have seen you otherwise. So that's the brilliant team at the Ghana Meteorological Agency that put together this wonderful work. Yeah. So, Honorable Minister, the last time someone said we have the men, it ended with it is not possible. But then this one, the proper, we have the men and women. So ladies and gentlemen, please once again for the Atlas team, let's celebrate them for the great work that they've done today. Oh, wow, fantastic. Right, so this is the team that put this brilliant work together, and I'm happy to say that very, very young people as well, which means the future at GMET is really proud and very bright as well. Guys, thank you so much. Please take your seats now.
Okay. I think I missed one thing, which has to do with the actual reports. So to download the actual reports also, there is a button from the navigation tab where you can click either request data or also download all the reports related to the Climate Atlas. So thank you much very much once again.
Thank you to Deputy Director General for the brilliant work done. Please, a round of applause for him. So since morning we've been talking about the Atlas and how important it is for a country like Ghana, but there are some key institutions that would have to make do and use the data that we have been shown today. And so we'll hear from them as well. From the energy sector, ladies and gentlemen, let's receive Engineer Paddy from the Volta River Authority.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister and the team. I also like to stand on all the existing protocols to congratulate GMET. Please, let's put our hands together for them. I have hustled them over this Atlas so long, and thankfully it's here. And I remember when the team came to my office in Akuse for the discussions and the expose, I made certain comments, and I'm glad that all those comments have been put in place. So let's clap once again for them. On behalf of our Chief Executive Engineer, Edward Obinkenzo, we'd like to congratulate you and also thank the sponsors for helping us come this far. You know, the Volta River Authority manages the Akosombo and the Kpong dams, and we have seen the impact of high temperatures and varied rainfall on the inflows. So for us, over the entire century, we have already modeled what the impact will be at the end of the century. So we are so glad that this has also come to augment our efforts to see what actually the Ghana data will do for us. We use several data sets that are not Ghanaian. We have to do the bias corrections and everything to see what the impact will be. But we are now glad that we have our own data sets that we can use for the analysis, and we are grateful. Going into the future, it's also going to help in the diversification effort of our energy sector, because we are looking at floating solar, we are increasing our solar footprint, and the irradiation data that we currently use, I'm glad to hear from the team that they will be putting that also on the Atlas for us. So for us, we will continue with our partnership with the Ghana Meteorological Agency, because over the years we have done that through the rainfall data sets that we receive from the team, the seasonal forecasts that we use for our inflow forecast, and through the data sets that GMET gives us, we have developed the first ever AI inflow forecasting tool for the authority as well. So we will continue to collaborate with you to see how we can use the Atlas for inflow forecasting for the century. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Engineer Philip Tetepadi. Now from academia, we'll be hearing from Professor Amekuji from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Professor G.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm so excited. Yeah, the Honorable Minister and Name, I also want to stand on the existing protocol. And very excited because most of the young ones were my students in class. And what I sat there was 208 when I was leaving Germany to Ghana to initiate the Meteorology and Climate Science program. One question they asked me, why not continue staying here? I said, no, I want to support my country. And I mean, I sat there and think that the dream is coming to fulfillment, and this is what we are seeing. And I know that there's more we can do, but just to say that as in academia, I'm representing the Vice Chancellor who extends his greetings to everyone here and would have wished to be here herself, but I think that looking at the occasion, he thought it wise that I should represent her. And so I'm here, being the pioneer of the program. Now, one thing that we want to see, we have all seen that indeed the climate is changing. And I also want to assure GMET of our continual collaborations and partnership, which we have had through all projects. As they are aware, every project that I bring to Ghana, I involved GMET, and still continue involving them. We still have a lot of projects on the pipeline, and also they should be aware that we are also ready to support in capacity building, also ready to use the data and look at it, add more other value to it as we have been doing. So I believe together we'll continue to build Ghana, build the climate service for Ghana. And this, I know that this is just the beginning. And there are better things that will follow up from this point. Thank you very much. And congratulations, GMET.
Thank you very much. A proud prof. Yeah, to see his students do magic and wonders. Prof, we are resetting the country. So you're also contributing to the reset. Well, ladies and gentlemen, away from academia, I would like to take you to the ones who do policy, the ones who initiate policy, look at it and strengthen it for our own good. And representing that sector is the Member of Parliament for Tema East, Honorable Isaac Asharo Dampton, who is also representing the Parliamentary Select Committee on Food, Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs. Please let's welcome the MP.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here. As said, I'm representing the chair for the Food, Agri and Cocoa Affairs Select Committee. May I also stand on already established protocols. But I want to acknowledge Nime, and Name. But we have one Na here. Indeed, when they say policy, we would usually look towards the executive. But as Parliament, we exert oversight over what policies we want this country to be like. Again, Parliament is that whole that looks at the global thing and ensure that we get in everything right, but without the microscopic look into details. And that is why we have astute, very sharp brainy ministers to deal with the details. And so in Parliament, when you see bills come before us, it is because some ministers or agencies or departments have done some thorough work to bring it to us, and then we can also use both expertise and layman or common man's perspective to drive whatever we want. And so sitting here, I know Parliament would be in a good position to even appreciate the language around what DMI and GMET have put together so far, and so that when the real people or real sectors come before us, not just for our respective committees, but Parliament as a whole will be in a better position to give you the support. The support is not always on your budget presentations, but it is a strong support that oversight can bring to all of us. I feel the confidence that we are all building together as a nation, because as we make things easier by way of providing data-driven information for decision-making, it helps all of us. And I think we should all commend GMET and DMI for this partnership that is producing something very significant for our country. Yes, food and agri, everything we do is either on land or on sea, either water or bare land. And I reckon that this will be a major intervention for what we all anticipate for things like food security, for things like global warming, and the likes. And so for us, we believe that as a committee, we would be observing, and not just ordinary observers, but we want to be partakers to see how this awesome product would positively affect our work on land. How are our farmers going to get ready-made information? How are farmers going to be reliant in terms of the timing for both planting and harvesting? How are they going to use this simple tool to better organize themselves and deal with the challenges that threaten our food security and related matters? Again, at sea, and I reckon that this is not just a product for men on land, but even the ocean aquaculture would also get to benefit. Information in this age is crucial, and it is a critical need for all of us to be open to how we use available information. Again, I sat here and was just reflecting on what a friend of mine who is based in the U.S., Philadelphia, somewhere, and is farming here in Ghana. And he's using apps and tools to really manage everything from seeds to planting to water levels to stock and to almost everything. And so I'm beginning to appreciate what GMET and DMI would be contributing to the bigger picture for our agric, fisheries, and cocoa affairs environment. And so, team, we are not just observing a launch, but we are seeing a reset that is going to impact both policymakers, policy oversights, and for us, we must also be advocates who would push for things like this to drive our national development agenda under the reset model that we have. I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. So now it's time to take our keynote address, and we are privileged this afternoon to have the sector minister join us to deliver that for us. So ladies and gentlemen, please let's make welcome the Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation, and the Member of Parliament for the good people of Ningo Pram, Sam Nate George.
Thank you very much. Please take your seat. Nime, Name, His Excellency the Ambassador of Danish Embassy in Ghana, the Member of Parliament for Tema East, and the Secretary of my regional parliamentary caucus, and Brother Honorable Ashayo Dampton, the Board Chairman and Board Members of GMET, the Director of the WMO Regional Association 1, the Director General of the Danish Meteorological Institute, the DG of GMET, heads of institution in the room here, representatives from the WMO, NMHSs, academia, civil society, and media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to join you here, and let me apologize for joining you a bit later in the program. This morning I had to be at the Bank of Ghana to launch a cybersecurity directive with the Chief of Staff, and so I had to complete that before coming here. But I dare say that I'm happy I caught the presentation on the Atlas. There are three key highlights, and that's before I even go into my speech. There are three key highlights that appear to me from the Atlas, that we're going to have increased temperatures. And whilst I was sitting there, I said, wow, it's going to get warmer. I need to get a bigger umbrella to cover myself. There's also going to be more intense and erratic rainfall. Still need an umbrella for the rainfall. And you know, rising water levels. I need a canoe, but a canoe is like an umbrella that's been turned upside down as well. And so it means that Ghana really needs the umbrella. Why are you all laughing? I just said Ghana needs the umbrella. Oh, I get it now. My political party symbol is the umbrella. Oh, yes. We need the umbrella. But it's an honor to join you today at the intersection of science, technology, and national development. We're here today to launch a flagship product that represents the future of our nation's resilience, the Ghana Climate Atlas. It's an important milestone in strengthening Ghana's climate information services and advancing evidence-based decision-making. I commend the Ghana Meteorological Agency, the GMET, for the leadership and technical expertise that have made this important national resource possible. Climate information is no longer a luxury for scientific research. It's now a fundamental tool for development planning, economic management, and national resilience. In an era where data is the new oil, this atlas is more than just a collection of maps. It is a sophisticated digital infrastructure. It is the result of GMET's commitment to innovation and its successful strategic sector cooperation with the DMI. By utilizing high-resolution climate projections, which are computer-generated models that simulate future climate conditions, at a 4-kilometer resolution, we're finally moving away from broad generalizations towards precise, actionable intelligence. This launch is timely and purposeful. Just last month, in the 2026 State of the Nations address, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama spoke candidly about the unforgiving impact of climate change. He described how erratic weather threatens our food security, energy production at Akosombo, and the livelihoods of our people. The President's message was a clear call to action. And today, from the ministry and with GMET, we answer that call. The Ghana Climate Atlas is the tool the President envisioned. It is a scientific compass that will guide our economic recovery and ensure that our green economy is built on a foundation of hard data and not hope. Once again, I said green economy. For Ghana to thrive, our economy must be climate-proof. Our farmers will no longer guess about the rainy season. Our engineers can now design bridges and roads to withstand projected floods by 2050. This atlas will also support better planning for energy generation, especially in hydropower and renewable investments. And I'm glad Engineer Paddy and his team at the VRA are working closely with us in building the models and projecting. It's also important for us in Ghana that by understanding local vulnerabilities today, we can build the resilience for tomorrow. This helps us find climate risk hotspots, ensuring that government resources go where they are needed the most. It also will help us in the country and in policy making to move forward, because this atlas will be a mandatory reference point for the government to strengthen policy formulation and development planning. Ministries, departments, and agencies will be able to integrate climate projection, be they scientific predictions of future climate conditions based on data and modeling, into their national development strategies. Whether we're designing the National Development Plan or local assembly budgets, GMET's climate projection will guide our path. And we can see this clearly as we talked about regions in the country that are going to be the hottest. It's important for those local assemblies to begin to factor that into their long-term, medium to long-term planning as they do their annual budgets. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot discuss climate action without addressing the people most affected by it. And research shows us that climate change is not gender neutral. It disproportionately impacts women, particularly those in our rural agricultural sectors and informal sectors. This atlas is a tool for gender justice, because our localized data will help us design targeted interventions that support women-led green businesses and climate-smart agriculture. This government is committed to an inclusive green economy where women and youth are not just recipients of climate aid, but leaders in climate innovation. The Ghana Climate Atlas is a powerful digital resource. It reflects our government's commitment to using data and technology to improve governance and development outcomes. As the ministry responsible for digital transformation, we recognize that data and its data-driven solutions are essential for smart, resilient, and sustainable economies. This atlas will strengthen Ghana's global voice. As a signatory to the UNFCCC Paris Agreement, we have made bold commitments in our nationally determined contributions. The atlas strengthens national adaptation planning, supports climate risk assessment, and improves data quality for reporting. Distinguished guest, the Ghana Climate Atlas was developed through strong partnerships, as we've had here already, and international collaborations. I want to once again thank the Danish Meteorological Institute for its technical capacity building support, which helped develop the Atlas's scientific foundation. We also thank the Embassy of Denmark in Ghana for their key support in making this initiative possible. And Ambassador, Your Excellency, we're super grateful. I remember when I got the request for a delegation to visit Denmark. As minister, I have to approve and then send it to the Chief of Staff for final approval. When I got the letter, I saw it was almost like 12 people, 13 people. First thing I said was, no, this is not happening. Government cannot fund this. We don't have the money for 13 people, so the trip is cancelled. And then the Director General came back to me and said, oh, Honorable, it's been funded by the Danish government. I said, oh, can you make it 15? And I'm excited that you supported us. Our people went and they learned, capacity was built, and today you see the result. And so I'm a Christian, and as Christians, we learned in the Bible the story of the parable of talents. The master gave 3 people talents. One he gave 5, one he gave 2, one he gave 1. The one he gave 5 worked with it, and when he came back, he gave him 10. The one he gave 2 worked with it. When he came back, he gave him 4. The one he gave 1 buried it, came back and he gave him 1, and he said, you are a lazy servant. Why am I talking about the parable of talents? I know Denmark has a lot of international partners that you work with. You gave us our talent. We didn't bury it. We've developed a Ghana Climate Atlas. So it means that you can give us more, and we will do more. So I'm hoping that the next invitation will not be for 13, it will be for 26. Do you agree with me? So that we can bring our partner agencies along to also learn. So that Engineer Paddy and his people, Prof. and his people can all go along as we do. Because and one thing you are sure of is when we come, when our people come, they will come back to Ghana. They will definitely come back. But I also wish to acknowledge the WMO for supporting the content management system. This system enables effective communication and visualization of the climate information in the Atlas. Special appreciation also goes to Sambus Geospatial, which is ESRI, for providing the GIS story map platform. This platform makes climate knowledge interactive and accessible for policymakers, researchers, and the public. Finally, I commend the dedicated Climate Atlas team at the Ghana Meteorological Agency. Please clap properly for them. These are our own. I was excited to see the team and realize that that team is compliant. Honorable MP, when we go back to the house, you can always say that you came and saw in Sam George's ministry and his agency, there's compliance with the affirmative action bill. Affirmative action law says 30%. The team I saw here was like 60%. So, or 70%. So we are over compliant. I was happy to see a lot more women in the team. Kudos to you, team. Your tireless effort has transformed a vision into a tool that will serve this nation for years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, data is the bridge between our current vulnerabilities and our future prosperity. And I urge all ministries, departments, and agencies, the private sector, and our media friends who are here to embrace this atlas as a national asset to building a climate-informed society. The government of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama recognizes the vital role of the GMET in protecting lives and supporting national development. I wish to assure GMET that government is committed to strengthening your capacity, and this will help you deliver climate services to protect lives, support livelihoods, and safeguard national development. From the ministry, we'll continue to work to expand the country's meteorological observation network by supporting the installation of marine observation stations, upper air systems for measuring atmospheric conditions above the surface, weather radars, additional AWOS or AWS equipment, and AWOS and AWS equipment at specified locations. In addition, government is committed this year to start the construction of a modern GMET head office, towers, and operational facilities. We would also renovate your existing offices to enhance the agency's visibility, operational efficiency, and service delivery, along with the retooling. And I think that a key thing that I'm having conversations with the board chairman on would also look at staff accommodation for GMET staff. Very important. We believe that this investment will strengthen Ghana's early warning systems and help safeguard our communities and economy. Before I launch the Atlas, let me just use this opportunity, because I've seen, and we've all seen, the spectacular work that our staff at GMET do, board chair and DG and management. This is yet again another call on you to come to the ministry with a clear roadmap on how we can improve the conditions of service of our staff. A clear roadmap that allows for us to reward the diligence and hard work of our staff. It's very important. And so, it is now my honor. Can I proceed to do the launch? It's now my honor, on behalf of the government of Ghana, to officially launch the Ghana Climate Atlas. May the Ghana Climate Atlas guide growth and protect our environment. Thank you, God bless you, and may God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Please, a better one for the lion from Mingo Pram Pram, Jata George. So, Honorable Minister will proceed here. Please, can we have DG, Deputy DG, and Board Chair, and the Danish Ambassador, the Honorable Minister, as we unveil this. Please, let's make way for them. DG, Deputy DG, our Ambassador, Board Chair as well. Right. Yes, very safe.
So, hello, good. So we on behalf of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, we officially declare the Ghana duly launched. Let it no finish. Finally, can breathe easy, because this was like a fire hazard.
So this is a summary of the Ghana Climate Atlas. It contains all the work that we have done, and is available for the public to also look at. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I'm told that as a part of our ongoing partnership with the Danish Meteorological Institute, this plaque that we unveiled is going to be transported from here to the premises of GMET, so that anybody who comes there would see the footprints of Denmark's collaboration with Ghana. Once again, Your Excellency, we're super grateful. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do better for the official launch of the Ghana Climate Atlas. A spectacular day it is in the history of our beautiful country, Ghana. And we thank our Honorable Minister, the Sector Minister, the Minister of Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation, Samuel Mate George, for helping us launch this beautiful one. Please, another round of applause. So we are inching very close to the end of today's launch, and so to help us with the appreciation and closing remarks, it is my singular honor to invite the Deputy Director General in charge of operations at GMET, Dr. Ignatius Kweku Williams, to give the closing remarks.
Thank you very much once again, Honorable Minister, Your Excellency, the Ambassador for Denmark, the traditional leaders who are here present, Nime, Name, all heads of agencies, institutions, the board, the chairman of the governing board and his board members. I'd like to say I'd like to extend my sincerest gratitude on behalf of the Director General, the management, and the staff of the Ghana Meteorological Agency. We very much appreciate the efforts and the time that you took off your busy schedules to be able to help us launch this particular initiative. And we assure you that it's not going to end here. We are going to follow up and update the reports and the platforms as and when the need be. We'll continue with the various engagement. We'll continue with the various engagement processes. We'll be meeting with your relevant institutions, and when we call on you, would plead that you please give us time so that we can come, explain, and situate the Climate Atlas within your particular domains. We would want to also appreciate very much the Embassy of Denmark in Ghana and the leadership of the Danish Meteorological Institute. Without this whole initiative would not have been a reality. And last but not the least, again, I'd want to thank my ever young, my ever energetic Climate Atlas team. In fact, yesterday we were in the office till after 11 p.m. and at no point did anybody look at their watch and say that it was too late, and we were all focused on the vision of deploying and giving you what you need today. So to you all, I say a very big thank you, and that we'll meet again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc. So we've come to the end of the program, but please take note that we have two versions of the Atlas, the full report and the abridged one. But if you scan this QR code, it will give you access to both. You can get the full and get the abridged as well. And we started with prayer, we will end with prayer, and after the prayer we'll take photographs as well. All staff of GMET, please, you have to wait behind. The media would also have to wait for us. But now Maureen opened it with a prayer for us, so it's good to call Maureen to give us the closing prayer. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Maureen.
Please, for humility again, if we can kindly rise for us to have our closing prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for today. We thank you for making the day a success. We thank you for the energy to be able to come this far and for the beautiful things you have done for us as a country.
As we are living here, while we are not living in your presence, we ask you to continue with us. Continue to give us the wisdom, the unity of peace, to continue to work for the safety of this country. All who will be traveling, going to their various places, we commit them into your hand. Lord, be with us. But in all that we do, your name will be glorified. These and many other blessings through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you very much, Maureen.
All right, so please kindly wait to take the photographs. Kindly wait on hands to take the photographs.
The Honorable Minister, the
Danish Ambassador, and our board chair, the Director General and Deputy Director General, take the first photograph. So let's have DG and his deputy join for this photograph. Right after that, the board members will join for the next one. Alright, so can we put the screen off, please? So that we can get great pictures. The screen, can we put the screen off? Alright, so board members kindly join. Management, please join. Board members and management of GMET, kindly join quickly.
Okay.
Quickly, our traditional leaders, Nune, Kanani, Fane, Coach, Kanani, Basha, and the Honorable Minister, Bashan for you. So this is the board and management of the Ghana Meteorological Agency, GMET. On the occasion of the special launch of the Ghana Climate Atlas. All right, thank you very much. The traditional authority, Nime Kaname, Wankwanyafaiwa, Wafane Nyaba, Kuni Washan Funi. Our partners should get ready for us. Our CSOs, our people, our partners from academia, from government agencies as well, kindly get ready for us. And the delegation from the Denmark Embassy should also get ready for us. Thank you very much. Our partners from academia, from government agencies, please join us quickly. The Honorable Minister has a plethora of engagements as well, so please let's make this very snappy. Our partners from the state security agencies as well, kindly join us. All our partners from academia, from civil society, from government agencies as well. Atlas team, kindly get ready. We need to have a photograph of the minister quickly. So these are our partners who will be joining us. Thank you very much, partners. So let's have our delegation from the Danish Embassy, kindly. The delegation from the Danish Embassy, kindly join us quickly. Our friends and partners from the Danish Embassy, quickly. Yes, kindly join us quickly. Let's take a quick photograph. All right, so okay. Harrison, quickly join us. All right, partners, please let's Thank you. Harrison? Yes, Harrison.
Join in.
Harrison, quickly. The Climate Atlas team, please be on standby phone. So that I can do cheese. The Climate Atlas team, quickly. Climate Atlas team.
Quickly.
Climate Atlas team, quickly.